violating core principles of legality and evidence. The abrogation of legal duty, the German marriage certificate, the most glaring denial of justice lies in the court's handling of the plaintiff German civil marriage certificate. The judge identified a procedural requirement, authentication under Section 161 of Ghana's Evidence Act, and used it not as a gateway to truth, but as a barricade against it. Failure to inquire, the judge acknowledged the plaintiff's difficulty in obtaining the required diplomatic certification on time. A court dedicated to justice has tools at its disposal. It could have adjourned to allow the proper authentication, issue a request for international judicial assistance, or subpoena the German embassy in Accra for clarification on the document format. Justice Atta did none of these. She performed a passive technical rejection, misapplication of fact. The judge fixed on the absence of exposure signatures on the document, implying forgery. However, she admitted she is not a signature expert and made no effort to ascertain the standard form of a German marriage certificate. Had she done her duty to the truth, she would have discovered that such certificates are issued by the registry official and do not typically contain the spouse's signatures. Her ruling was based on an ignorant assumption about foreign documents. Evidential burden. By dismissing the certificate on these grounds while accepting uncertified videos, photographs, and the uncontrollable oral testimony of an interested party, which is Priscilla Ufori, brother-in-law, as a sufficient proof of a customary marriage. The judge applied two brutally different standards. This is not okay. It is a bias. It is a bias as procedure. The lawful wife document proof was subjected to an impossible standard, while the private undocumented assertion was accepted on the lowest possible threshold. 2. Sanctioning document fraud and perjury. The court's ruling effectively rewards the legitimate documentable falsehood. The single versus marriage contradiction. Priscilla Ufori owns world declaration to the British visa authorities and in a company registration document where lying constitution a criminal offense states she's a single as of 2025. Her claim in court is that she has been married since 2010. Both cannot be true. This is not a minor discrepancy. It is direct, actionable perjury on matters central to the case. Justice Atta's judgment ignores this fact. Justice Atta's judgment ignores this fatal contradiction to her credibility. By validating her claim, the court has endorsed a fraudulent declaration to a foreign government. The fraudulent transfer of property. Inheritance fraud occurs when assets are unlawfully diverted from their rightful heirs. The material states that properties in Tatra Hill and Dome were built by Mr. and Mrs. Fosu. Yet, it is documented that Priscilla Ofori has given away these houses to her brother and his wife and his extended family. The court declaration of her as a surviving spouse provides a fraudulent legal cover for this theft. Let's continue. It transforms criminal misappropriation into a semi-legitimate act of a widow managing marital property. This is the very essence of inheritance fraud, using a false status to justify the looting of another's legacy. The complicity role of officers of the court. The fraud extends beyond the judge's bench. The on-authority lawyer materials raise serious concerns about a lawyer acting on behalf of Daddy Lumba's estate without a verified will or power of attorney from the lawful next of kin. This lawyer allegedly allowed Priscilla family to occupy and rent the Fosu properties. A lawyer's duty is to uphold the law, not to facilitate the unilateral distribution of a diseased asset against the interest of the legitimate family. This conduct, which should be investigated by the General Legal Counsel, is a professional enabler of the fraud. The financial coming, the injunction ruling by Justice Diaba exposed another layer of potential fraud. The court found it necessary to order the separation of funeral funds from the Daddy Lumba Memorial Foundation LBG account. This indicates that donation from the public given in memory of the icon were potentially being mixed with private funeral or other finances, creating opaque sludge found controlled by those seeking to exclude the lawful family. This is a gross abuse of charitable sentiment and public trust. Obstructions of investigative justice. True justice seeks all facts. The environment created for the lawful family was one of deliberate obstructions, preventing any challenging to the emerging narrative. The body and the autopsy, the lawful wife and children were denied access to Daddy Lumba's body for months. Their request for an independent autopsy, a standard right to ascertain cause of death, especially given the unclear circumstances, was blocked. Without an autopsy, questions about the sudden death remain unanswered, and a fundamental tool for investigative justice was nullified. The false narrative of abandonment. The court, by focusing on physical separation, allowed a defamatory and false narrative to stand out that Mrs. Fosu abandoned her husband. This narrative, crucial to the defendant's case, was disproven by evidence of her financial support, medication purchases, and visits. Yet, by not condemning this falsehood explicitly, the judgment lends it a shadow of legitimacy, further defrauding Mrs. Fosu of her moral and reputational rights. Justice was not merely denied, it was weaponized to retrace the judgment of Justice Dr. Dorinda Smith-Atta. Legitimized document fraud by ignoring incontrovertible proof of pedigree. Sanction indicates sanction inheritance, theft by proving a judicial stamp to the misappropriation of jointly built marital assets, violated evidential fairness by erecting barriers for one side while laying out a welcome mat for the other, and noble financial by failing to condemn the alarming coming of public moral funds. This case is no longer just about the Fosu family. I repeat it. This case is no longer just about the Fosu family. It is a precedent. It demonstrates how a corrupt interpretation of procedure, coupled with a refusal to pursue obvious truth, can transform a court a law of instrument for rectifying fraud. The legality has been twisted to deny justice, and the inheritance has been stolen under the court's solemn seal. This is the ultimate denial. Abushafo, engineer DSC, solemn appeal to conscience and authority. Good. We have laid bare the facts. We have laid bare the facts. We have exposed the inconsistency, the procedural injustice, and the devastating consequence of a flawed judgment. Now, we turn from recounting this wrong to demanding its remedy. We appeal not with anger. Therefore, I repeat it. We appeal not with anger, but with a determined call for the restoration of order, of truth, and the rule of law in Ghana. I'm repeating myself. We appeal not with anger, but with a determined call for the restoration of order and truth and the rule of law in Ghana. To the people of Ghana and the court of public opinion, you are the ultimate guidance of our nation's souls. We appeal to your innate sense of fairness. Look at the evidence presented. A wife of over 30 years, a co-builder of a legacy, has been stripped of her status by a court that rejected a document on technicalities. It made no effort to resolve. Look at the claimant who declares herself single to foreign governments while claiming to be a wife in our court. This is not a complex legal mystery. It is a clear moral and factual wrong. Okay? This is not a complex legal mystery. It is a clear moral and factual wrong. We ask you to stand with truth, amplifying this story, demanding accountability. Let no one say that Ghanaians stood silent while such an injustice was perpetrated in their name. We are demanding accountability. Let no one say that Ghanaians stood silent while such an injustice was perpetrated in their name. To the judiciary and the Judicial Council, we appeal for urgent review and introspections. The judgment in Mrs. Akosua Serwaa versus Abusuapeni Kofi Owusu and us has shaken public confidence. When a court dismisses a core civil document without exhaustive forensic verification, while accepting contradictory oral claims, it sets a dangerous precedent. We appeal for a scrutiny of this specific judgment and the conduct that led to it. The judiciary must be a fortress of impartiality, not a stage for evidence. Uphold the integrity of your noble institution by ensuring this matter is revisiting with the rigor, fairness, and pursuit of truth that every citizen deserves. To His Excellency the President, the Attorney General, and the Ghana Police Service, we appeal for executive and investigative action. This case has far beyond a civil dispute into matters demanding criminal investigation. Investigate the circumstance of death, the family's right to an autopsy and transparent inquest into the death of Charles Kojo Fosu has been obstructed. We appeal for state intervention to ensure this occurs. Please, Mr. President, we appeal for state intervention to ensure this occurs. Investigate potential fraud and perjury, the glaring contradiction between Priscilla Ofori's sworn single status on official documents and marriage claim in court demands a criminal investigation for potential perjury and fraud on immigration and corporate documents. Investigate the misappropriation of assets and funds, the alleged gifting of the Fosu marital properties to the family of Priscilla Ofori, and the coming of public funeral donations, as noted by the High Court. Okay, as noted by the High Court, must be investigated as potential threats and financial malfeasance. Investigate the conduct of the unauthorized lawyer. The Ghana Bar Association must urgently investigate the lawyer who has allegedly assumed control to estate assets without legal authority from the lawful family. Please, I'm repeating this for the Ghana Bar Association, must urgently investigate the lawyer who has allegedly assumed control of estate assets without legal authority from the lawful family. To the chiefs and traditional rulers of Ghana, the traditional rulers of the Ashanti Kingdom, we ask that you use your right standing in society to bring about justice and fairness as according to tradition. To the diaspora, our family abroad, we make a special appeal to you. You have seen how the lawful wife and a diaspora Ghanaian like many of you has been treated. if her legal marriage can be dismissed, her properties seized, and her rights voided, what security do your investment and legacy back home have? Your remittance contributing billions annually to Ghana's stability are sent with trust. That the trust is broken when the system fails to protect your own. We appeal for your powerful voice. Lend your influence, your networks, and your demand for accountability to this cause. This theme is about the diaspora. Okay? You need to lend your influence, your networks, and your demand for accountability to this cause. Your engagement is crucial. To international observers and human rights bodies, we appeal for your witness. This is a case study in the deprivation of a woman's right to properly inheritance and fair judicial process. Watch this space. Hold Ghana accountable to its own laws and its international commitment to justice and gender equality. Whilst I'm ending my statement, I'm going to the international observers and the human rights bodies. We appeal for your witness. This is the case study in the deprivation of a woman's rights to properties, inheritance, and fair judicial process. Watch this space. Hold Ghana accountable to its own laws and its international commitment to justice and gender equality. To end my press statement, our profound appreciation. In this difficult journey, we have not been alone. We concluded not with a note of despair, but with deep and sincere gratitude. We thank the moral and courageous members of the media, here present and abroad. Your dedication to uncovering and reporting the truth is the oxygen of democracy. You have given voice to the voiceless, and for that, we are entirely grateful. We thank the many legal professionals, academics, and civil society advocates who have reviewed this case, offered their counsel, and spoken out privately and publicly against the injustice they see. Your expertise and solidarity fortify our resolve. We thank the maternal family of the late Mr. Kojo Charles Fosu, especially his sister, Miss Ernestina Fosu, Mame Akosua Brempoma, for their courage instant for truth within fractions family context, even obtaining a crucial injunction to halt and exclusion, to halt a funeral. I think that one, we have a family member here who acknowledge or tell us something about that. We extend gratitude to the members of the public, both in Ghana and across the globe, who have listened, analyzed, and expressed their support. Your messages, you share outrage, and your prayers have been shelled against diaspora. Finally, we thank Mrs. Akosua Serwaa Fosu and children for their unwavering strength and dignity in the face of a torrent of deception and institutional failure. Your fight is our fight. Mrs. Akosua Serwaa Fosu, your fight is our fight. This press conference is not an end. I mean, this press conference that we are doing is not an end. It is a clarion call marking the beginning of a sustained campaign for rectification. We will use very lawful and peaceful means available. We will not rest until the marriage certificate is recognized. The stolen properties are recovered. The body is respectfully laid to rest by his rightful family, and those who have perpetrated this fraud are held to account. The truth crash to earth shall rise again. We stand with truth. Team legal wife, we move. Team legal wives, we move. Team legal wives and husbands, we move
and we pray.
Thank you very much. Come Brofona, say Yamo said, Timoma Sri, Brofona Yakasa.
Why are they, Papa?
So we need a brief point.
I may control maybe Musuma pressure no any too much. Why? 2-3. Wow, Reno, and so no. Or your quad with Chia. Yamia Duma, Betty Yanka. Now, Mammy, I are the Lamanaya. Nijay Ama. There was proposal for the chiefs, which is our traditional council. The best said, Major Ama, sister. Now, what kind we are, Messrum. Now, the Yakani and your Babon Tofa, our chief cousin. Ama, Yena, Yati, and Wansi. Now, Angel, near the Yadi Jumeno, I am our baby. But I say, and you know about the kind of yeah, never the bonnie now, your kind once international airport, it is strong. You wear a bubble in now, there's your mom. Now, yeah, every player. Because there were high courts, they will Kumasi, when you will be Accra. You need to know fully
Subject humble request for blessings, demanding search for that Lumba's body. Respected Otu Nana Osei to the second. We, the team legal wives and husbands, together with all supporters and lovers of that Lumba, humbly seek your royal blessing and permission to hold peaceful demonstration in Kumasi. Our other mission is to demand the authorities locate that Lumba's deceased body within 5 to 10 days, so he may receive proper funeral rites as per our customs. Purpose and details. Cause to call for immediate action to find that Lumba's body and ensure justice, cultural respect for him and his family. Demonstration will take place in the Kumasi metropolis with a formal petition to be submitted to relevant authorities. Nature. Peaceful march with respectful chants, symbolic placards, and adherence to our cultural values of decorum. We assure you our actions will reflect the dignity and expected to those who honor traditional leaders. We would be deeply honored if a representative from the palace could be present as we present our plea for urgent action. May the ancestors guide you and grant us success in finding Daddy Lumba's funeral. Thank you, Nananom. Thank you, Nana Osei Tutu the second. Thank you very much.
Amen. Abusafo, empeprenso na yebro no. Say ye poto kakra. Sabri ye baba be bole tofa awe ye santi kasem. Eni echi kasem. Mo amowo isrim, mo amowo voter, mo amowo seshi, mo amowo ye kasa no ebia na santi kasa no monte ni ye. I think say moko mokas ayi ma fidie ne so a mo translate a ebetimi amama ye den ati asie. Yeah. Menko. I'm so tough me ba be bolo. Efa eye brother ya die nyina yewra Mr. Charles Kojofosu dodo na friend of Daddy Lumba. Ne won sensem ya na ya ba betena ha yedi hu abobo. Na die dikan ya chia Ghana mampanyini yewra John Dramani Mahama ana Attorney General na yachia yenana opimsio na nana ose tutu otosu mienu nana we de me modi wi me mami muso otosu mienu yenana no mo mwetwa asantima mwehia yedua no eni media mwehia mu enede yakasa nyina ne se ya die nyina yewra Charles Kojofosu Daddy Lumba dodo na friend Daddy Lumba no na bra bo ase no okopie mu wo amanone Germany abontie so die dikan odika ko Holland na mo amani tua ye abrochire nkrata sem ni abrochire komodi nti BBC ema yenia bema no esa ba ni chi na nyame nchade ne ho kani a oye ne ho ade ema na busia ewo asante eye bom so hanom esi 1991 eno wa betim ni chi na de ko afe apem ahankro ediokro baako mo one ne wokani kabo mu no ewo akan ana yen amamre mu no omutu kwan oba no ebefa niwra ede ne koi ti sabe midi kan se yewra ko Holland no bibi nti osaba na chi na enumu na nyame nchade ani yenia ba Akosua Serwaa fosu nyame ya na dom a won de abrochire nkomo onyane nkrata enti otimi de befa ne ho kani Charles Kojofosu de koka ne ho ewo Germany wa no mo bra ana omode wo omoba wodikan omoba na wodikan no your friend Calvin na susu na nu odi ni djuma oye ne nwom busumi nsia na waba Ghana susu busumi nsia na waba ba be promoti ana se waba ba be promoti ni nwom a wadi hu djuma no enumwa no ne ho kani maame Akosua Serwaa eye afibia omukọ na omaba one ne ma ewomua na ye brachas kojofosu eba bedru eye Ghana no na ewose oye ohwe na pomudin na pomudin no ema otu anamon one ne ho kani ni kan se opese oba Ghana na obeye 1 or 2 bi no sa sign na chi yeden eko nanso ya brother ni bedru ye no eho no ma ne ho kani enyanti ye se wono de wonje eho adokotafo no eni enti nko obepese obetena ni krom na omahwe na pomudin na yeden amano oba odoni kunu ose mira ya waka no masumu amatene dwo na yaya yenya bema chaskojofosu ebedu Ghana wose ohwe na pomudin no sebi ono ane nsem kaya ne ye kakra bi a oye yenti wantimi ankoka ne ho kani ho ewo amanane nanso no omudi nkomo no omo ye ntotoye bibia sefata se okunu no oyiriye bia no omo ye den omo ye edidimua na yenia chaskojofosu ekoba ise afedi wontimi enkoneti obekokra okwa enche no asasa n'echi na enum nso ana oba betena oman Ghana mu no na emfie mienu bia efri 2011 ebadia no na yiri a ye ne ho kani maame Akosua Serwaa fosu emfie mienu bia na oba ebehwe niwra ewo oman no from 2011 baba besi na oba bianso a na oba beto yenya ba eya Priscilla Ofori a dodo na freno odobruni na oba na oba beto na nyese eye ne kura ana oba beto na eye se niwra ma na so atese oba yi na suso ni mu kakra ye den ewo fie eno wo de kobrofo a na omo kan made me kan wo asante kasen it wonder suso ni mu kakra na mso suso ni mu kakra na omo de awo nso aye den aka ho na yema yi mu de unu obi tena busumi nsia ekọ afekura eya na dodo na ono oba nkura to o semeyere nanso amamra ni amane kwa so na enye aware didimu ana yemia ba no edewo emumiensa siasha yamame Akosua Serwaa nyanti yese mira chaskojofosu matise abaya na woni ni wo fie wona minimu se osuso wumu kakra no one na wo baako mienu miensa ema yeye bra chaskojofosu se me dofo pa ma de nyina Serwaa wo ye odo bibisa nyeden eni ho ema wani tia omaya yatim wasemo ba ye wagia ne de ye nyeden ye ni na wasamba de a ye beka obi sheda twamfoni de kire ye nua be ma no ema ye nua ba Akosua Serwaa enua panyin ana ni nua panyin no adi mfoni ni ma ye nua Akosua Serwaa ode ma na entempamu na no sa de ma ni wura se mira asema na nukusu amaka no we soso eyeden sabita frache ye nyina ya ti yehu bi ye ya sa time ne de yehu bi yehu se ye nia chaskojofosu na okọ ye dwumadie bi wo amanone eye lande enunti wa hweso anko ode ko ne yire wo be ma asem kesie se yesie ewo se okọ na okọ jojo ne ho kani no akoma to okoi wone ne kokasai na sade be ya oman no atesem Judicial yen ya yen nyina ye ne afia through 2014 every 2015 urban na ewoma ya say yen ya yen nya Charles Kojofosu opema enti no kranti wo de bebo ma say on dia wo sori a wo trene dem enso ye se wo na ma wo ye dem o ye ma asem yen nyina ye aware enuti yen nya Charles Kojofosu ba o man Ghana mu no obai woni yen nya ba ma aye media fo ya bi Anti-Dusty ebedi enkitaho ema yen nyina ye te se oka se at that time ne ma wawo because na kasa na ekwa abontene ne doso na yen nyina nim se ye bra Charles Kojofosu nya ne nsem nyina na oka no abontene etisi opie na so be kasa pe na just as a bronya ye den asi enuti oba abontene be yi ano at that time 2014 to 2015 oba be yi nano se ono Charles Kojofosu ne ma eye enum okay oba be yi ano se ne ma eye enum at that time no na ababa wa your friend Priscilla Ofori na wo fie wa wo baako wa wo mienu wa wo miensa nanso abra na ye nua Charles Kojofosu ka na asem ewo ye nua Anti-Dusty ho no wan kase wa wo enwotwe because na ye bra Charles Kojofosu ni ye maame Akosua Serwaa awo miensa ana wa wo baako ewo nchen eye ono anadamfo na ye nua Akosua Serwaa damfo no ne tie maame Georgina ba ana Denise ensoso eye baby ane yera Charles Kojofosu eti ewo achimota obabi a wohia no ho ebo short baako it at that time no na emana ye enum na sakia de ye nua Priscilla Ofori emano ka saa enum ne ho a na nke be ye nwotwe nanso ye nua ne tena afidi kase so ene Anti-Dusty kan say ne ma eye enum but because say ye nua Anti-Dusty nim say atesem ne emma ebi wo akire nti o kire da say pursue no ka kire ne say na bra we wi ana no so obehwahwe so di num besa kan enum na wo ye den owo ne ho a emma wo mu nyina ye den ebo esre enti enum ani ye didi ya nyame ncha de I think say ye nua Charles Kojofosu ne ho bedodo ne kakra na anche ne ho dodo no akra ba abontene beka say onyare nru efie mienu or say less than 2 years and or yare nti yeso ye de ba asante kase mu anacha say bia afi ba ko ne busumi nsia busumi ba ko busumi miensa busumi nson enye mfie mienu enti sabre ni mu no ne ho to no anche no ne ye nua yade nyina eye great ampon enso ye enwom a o hihye which is 2016 a o di be ye Ozana a o di mu a di be ye MPP fo onyo ni nyina na ye nua Charles Kojofosu na ne ho odi ye a o ti bi ko ba bi a o di ni dwuma se ne e wo se odi pepepe na ne ho dodo no se oda wono ma sebi o waye ohaw anatete ama abusia ana waye ohaw anatete ama oman no ana waye ohaw anatete ama obi na otimi ko eba eye de wo se oye bia enum a na ye nua Charles Kojofosu edidi mu a edibesi 25 Nigeria say 23rd June eye bra one ne ho kani Mrs. Akosua Serwaa Fosu ekasa ya etwato na omutimi omudi omunkomo by 23rd June 2025 ɛne ɛda etwa to a yɛ maame Akosua Serwaa ɛne ne wura Charles Fosu ɛkasaeɛ abra na ne ba a wɔtɔ so mmienu edi na woda a no wa ani tua na emedie ɛnra na yɛ meka akyire awoda me frɛ o maame ɛwɔ amanɔne ɛma yɛ dɛ medi nkɔmmɔ bɔ mpa yɛ ma me ba saa na megidi yɛ sɛ yɛ bra Charles Fosu ɛyɛ ma ne ba a wɔtɔ so mmienu ne maame Akosua Serwaa yɛ dɛ ɛwɔ yɛ ɛnu nti no efiri hɔ de yɛ bɛtɛ ne sɛ yɛ nua Charles Fosu ɔda yɛ a wansɔre asɛm wo deɛ na ɛden na ane wɔn akɔka yɛ didimu a ana abusua ebehyia yɛ ɛyɛ yɛwura Kofi Owusu a ɔyɛ abusua panyin ma ɛkɔ abusua ne nyinaa ɛma yɛdi na wɔtweda na after na wɔtweda no ɛna ɛkɔba sɛ ɛyɛ ne da no sɛ yɛ maame Akosua Serwaa edi ba nkrataa so koraa na kyerɛ sɛ wadi afoofi na kyerɛ sɛ wadi bɛn sɛ ɔbɛba so sɛ ɔyɛ ɔyere na sabita frakyɛ awareɛ mu yɛwɔ mu mmiɛnsa ɛwɔ ɔman yi mu yɛwɔ ɛyɛ yamammerɛ awareɛ which is traditional marriage a dodoɔ no afrɛ no customary marriage ɛne yɛwɔ